Mac, Adam, Bran, and Little have been running plays to help each other hook up for years. When Mac comes across the perfect guy, Nick, they all help her run the biggest play to get him. Mac asks Bran about his target for the night. They decide to call her Martini Blonde. They discuss which play they can run to win her over for Bran. Mac seems to have a knack for it, since she can tell what kind of play would work. She suggests the Fiji fantasy, since she seems like a tourist waiting to enjoy her weekend. While Adam and Little wait by the door, Mac walks towards the bar with Bran. She pretends to be his girlfriend, who is mad because he spoils her a lot. He accidentally bumps into Martini Blonde and pretends to be very respectful. Mac complains about them moving too fast in their relationship emotionally. There's also a convincing story about how great he is in bed. He has apparently spent a lot of money on her, because he wants a mature relationship. When Bran addresses Mac as Poppy and forgets his line, she takes control. She asks him to take someone else for their Fiji trip. This somehow works on Martini Blonde, who starts talking to Bran. Mac thinks the plays are about showing how much effort they're putting in their lives. She is sure even Martini Blonde must realize they were acting. She compares it to a time she hooked up with a guy in Milan. He pretended to be a duke, and she played along. Her alarm beeps to warn her about another play she's running with her neighbor. She assures them it's fine because the neighbor is moving out soon. Adam reminds her they also hooked up once. Bran has already left the bar because Martini Blonde caught him in a lie. He's targeting someone new, and it's a guy at the bar. Mac knows he is out of Bran's league. So, she thinks and suggests the runtime step play. He doesn't think he can do it on his own, so Little offers to help. Bran doesn't want to involve his younger brother, but it's too late. Adam and Mac discuss how newspapers are dying with all the frequent layoffs. They also work in a newspaper with Bran. When Adam asks about her feature, she doesn't have an angle yet. She wants to write about memorable sports moments, but feels like she needs a point of view. For someone who covers local sports, her job depends on a solid feature. But she doesn't want their boss, Karen Kirk, to know about it till she has it figured out. She's trying to get an interview with baseball legend Bob Farkle, even if he has never done interviews in his life. She realizes she is late for her neighbor and runs home to get to work. She puts her mail in her neighbor's and adjusts her home to work the play better. He knocks on her door to give her back a magazine he is also interested in. When he notices what she's watching on TV, he gets more attracted to her and hooks up with her. When he's gone, she changes the channel to watch a hockey match. Mac comes to office for a change to attend Greenberg's retirement party that night. Mac starts giving a lot of details about her hookup with her neighbor last night. Even Bran gives too much information about the guy he was pursuing. Adam is working on a graph when a man asks for directions to Karen's office. Mac and Bran can't stop staring at him. Adam informs him that Karen's secretary, Ashley, has all the information. They recognize him as Nick Russell and wonder what he's doing there. Ashley informs Mac he's an old friend of Karen. He is currently working on his new book and will attend the party that night. Mac knows that Nick speaks 7 languages and saved an orphan from a building in Syria. He's a big name in their industry and was also a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize last year. Bran claims to not know all this since he's usually too busy writing obituaries. When Karen brings Nick their way, Bran pretends to know everything about him. He introduces Adam and Mac to Nick. After Karen offers to get them drinks, Adam and Bran notice that Mac looks nervous. Adam can tell she wants to hook up with Nick and asks what play she wants to run. But Mac thinks he is the kind of grown man women would freeze their eggs for. She still wants to hook up with him, so she decides they will wait till the end of the night. She doesn't want to mess around with a war reporter like him and aims straight for the goal. They wait for the crowd to thin out, during which Mac makes sure she gets his attention. In the end, when only a few are left, Adam and Bran make an excuse to leave. Mac jokes about not having a deadline because no local sports like turtle racing happen at night. Nick offers to buy Mac a drink, but she asks if they can go to his place. They start making out, and she breaks something he got from Syria. They decide to head to the bedroom, where she can't get over his Egyptian cotton sheets. But they're both horny, and he makes sure to take care of her needs. She looks around the house later. He had slept off since he drank too much beer. She's still excited about him when he offers to call her a cab. Not wanting to mess this up, she pretends she already thought of it and leaves. When Mac joins the guys at the club, they tease her about Nick. But she's hungry and starts eating the fries Adam saved for her. Bran asks her to hurry since he has eyes on someone at the bar. It's Adam's turn for a hookup, but he's not interested. He just got a number of a girl that night and doesn't want to mess it up. Mac checks out the girl at the bar and asks for some items for her next play. When Bran leaves, she asks Adam to split a falafel with her. Adam knows she only eats falafel when she's upset. She claims everything went great with Nick, but she might have feelings for him. This confuses Adam, because their plays don't leave any room for feelings. They have never run a play for relationships, but Mac really thinks Nick is the perfect guy. She is impressed that he has a framed photo of his parents. She thinks that's a sign of a mature man, and wants to settle for him. Adam agrees to help her if this is what she wants. He gives an inspiring speech about how their team never gives up. Their aim is to convert Mac's one-night stand into a long-term romance with the help of a play. They're supposed to do thorough research for Mac to decide the right play for this situation. Since Little is unemployed, he gets the day shift for a stakeout outside Nick's apartment to understand his patterns. Bran is on night duty to understand how Nick dates. He's supposed to flag any second or third dates. Mac is supposed to lay low and research online through mutual friends and interviews. Adam is responsible for compiling their data for a visual analysis. When some time has passed, they all gather at the office. Little instantly likes Ashley and tries to talk to her. When he mentions he is Bran's brother, she instantly feels sorry for him. They ask their colleague, Carl, to move so they can borrow the conference room. Adam has created a detailed visual representation to understand more about Nick. They know that Nick spends most of his time on writing and researching for his book. They also know all about the coffee house, yoga sessions, and bars he visits. He likes to spend his nights at concerts, wine tasting, or with fine dining. He goes on one date every 7 to 9 days, which are mostly new dates with some rare repeats. They need to record Mac's ultimate goal, which is mostly getting Nick to clear out a drawer for her. Adam knows this can take months for that kind of trust. Mac just needs their help to get her out of the one-night stand category into the casual dating one. They brainstorm about the kind of play that can work in this situation. But they have never done a long-term play before, so they don't have ideas. Adam suggests the no-play play, where she can just ask him out. But Mac thinks it's too risky if both the people are not on the same page. As they watch a wrestling match, Mac has ideas about the strategy the woman needs to win. This gives her an idea, and she realizes what kind of play she needs for Nick. She brings out her notes to explain that their play will be called the Flurry. The steps involve a jab, duck, feint, and a spinning elbow knockout. For the first step or the jab, she needs to make direct contact with him, but should keep it casual. She has 8 days before he does a reading at a bookstore, so she uses that time to become a regular there. She picks out a book on the first day and approaches the owner, Mary. She pretends like she keeps coming to the place and makes sure to pick the book Mary loves. She keeps meeting Mary every time to ask for recommendations. On the day of the reading, Bran and Nick guard the entrance. They text Mac when Nick arrives, so she strategically gets out of her hiding spot. She thanks Mary and bumps into Nick as he's coming up. She asks what he's doing in her bookstore and pretends to not know about his book reading. She promises to put his new book on her list. Her interaction with Mary on the way out convinces Nick that she's a regular there. Their next step is the duck, where she has to make sure he sees her. Adam has his deleted jogging routes, while Little and Bran are put on the lookout again. When Nick passes by, they text Mac again, so she takes Adam's help to look sweaty and sexy. She makes sure to cross Nick, who recognizes her, but she pretends she doesn't see him. Their third step is the feint, for which they need a woman. Little clearly has a crush on Ashley, so he suggests they can take her help. Mac approaches Ashley, and they explain what Mac is trying to do. When Ashley knows this play is about Nick, Mac is encouraged by how observant she is. She agrees to help them, because she's curious about how old people date. There's an outdoor movie night at Brooklyn Bridge Park. The boys scan the lawns for Nick while Ashley acts as Mac's ringer. When Little spots him, Ashley and Mac run to occupy a spot, after which Ashley starts acting. Nick spots Mac and she asks if he remembers Ashley from Office. Nick is there to meet friends, but there's no cell reception. They discuss his reading the other day, and he informs her only 9 people came. She's about to ask him to join them when Ashley starts acting stranger and pretends to puke. Mac claims she needs to take her home since she's very drunk. When they're out of Nick's sight, Ashley gets normal again. Little is full of praises for her and asks her out. Adam quizzes Mac about the things Nick likes, and she gets all of them right. She asks about the woman's number he took the other day. He claims they have gone out a few times, and she's happy for him. She discusses a baseball game where her parents met for the first time. Everyone threw their wrappers in the field to delay the game. But her mom was pissed at her dad for eating the chocolate and not throwing the wrapper. She loves this stadium as much as her parents loved it. She shows him where she saw the last game with them, when her mom was on a wheelchair. Mac remembers she perished 3 days after that. She misses her mom and how her dad looked at her. She knows that's the kind of love she wants too. But this gives her an idea for her future. As a huge baseball fan herself, she can write about the first and the last game with her parents. She can make it all about her personal experience, and add some interviews too. Mac is busy at work when her phone keeps buzzing. Her friends think it's code red, because Nick scheduled a third date. They have dubbed this woman as Top Knot, and Mac knows she's great. They have a date that night itself, and they're going to listen to classical music. Mac knows nothing about it, but she can't let the third date happen. She knows third dates could lead to a 6-month delay. When Ashley points out Top Knot is a doctor, they ask Bran to call his contacts at the hospital. They all help Mac get ready for the event and quiz her about classical music. When she's ready, she asks Bran to cue the hospital. Bran cooks up a fake emergency, because of which, Top Knot has to leave immediately. They do a countdown till the intermission, and Mac walks ahead to fit in with the crowd. She claims she was so desperate for a smoke that she forgot her tickets inside. The doorman feels like she fits in, so he allows her in. She walks up to the bar and orders 2 drinks. Nick jokes about the possibility of her stalking him, since she's everywhere. She claims she's there with her brother, who hates classical music. When he thinks that's ridiculous and praises it, she convincingly agrees with him. She even shares a fun fact Adam discussed with her before, and it's clear Nick feels a vibe. He shares that his date had to leave and asks her to sit with him for the second half. During the performance, she's determined to look like she's enjoying it. He keeps looking over to notice her expressions. Adam needs to go somewhere and doesn't want to keep sitting there all night, but they spot Mac and Nick coming out. Nick invites her for a drink, but Mac claims she has a deadline. This is when he asks for a proper date with her. They celebrate Mac finally moving into the dating category with Nick. While they're bowling, a woman walks over and kisses Adam. He introduces her as his date, Claire, who is very sweet to them. They're all surprised, because no one is invited to the group till they're serious. Adam thinks Claire is cool, so he didn't think a lot before calling her. There's some awkward silence, but Ashley suggests playing a game. Mac wants to know how serious things are between Adam and her. Adam claims he had plans with her before their Nick emergency, and he didn't want to cancel. Claire is a dental hygienist and Mac is happy Adam feels good with her. Mac and Nick seem to be vibing on their date. She takes him to play baseball, but he's terrible at it. She informs him she has read his book and thinks it's beautiful and devastating. She wants to invite him over, but he claims he has work. Mac is worried because Nick thinks of her as someone fun and not serious. She wants Adam and Claire to join her for a double date to charm him. Adam reminds her she's in an adult relationship now and needs to stop fooling around with Nick. He wants her to stop with the plays if she is serious about him, but he still agrees to go on the double date. Claire wants to split a lobster, but Nick doesn't share because he is worried someone might poison him. Adam doesn't understand how they're a threat to him, but Mac suggests Adam and Claire can share while she and Nick get their own things. Adam teases Mac about not sharing food earlier too, and calls her a brat because she's the only child. Nick asks about the brother she brought to the concert. Adam covers for her and claims she got her Christian brother Charlie to the concert, who is more like a family friend. When they recall their memories with Charlie and play with pretend swords, Nick claims he's not into Star Trek, but they remind him it's a Star Wars reference. Mac is proud that Nick is getting honored at the UNICEF Humanitarian Awards. He needs to finish working on his book by then, so he can enjoy the evening. His book is about genocide. When it's time for ordering, Mac asks for a branzino, which she and Adam know is Nick's favorite. He is impressed and orders one too, but the eyes of the fish keep scaring Adam. As Mac tries to discuss a topic Nick is interested in, Adam seems too creeped out by the fish. They ask him to relax, and Mac thinks he shouldn't order fish. Claire has heard about Mac's feature and asks her about it. Mac tries to change the topic because she didn't want to discuss it with Nick. He talks about writing serious stuff, but this doesn't seem big enough for him. But when Nick claims he is curious, she gets excited. Adam explains she's writing a piece from baseball fans' perspective. Mac is excited to share she already got an interview with Farkle, after which she and Adam do a celebratory dance. Mac explains that Farkle and his friends used to sneak into matches. He was there for the most important moment in baseball history. But when she spoke to Farkle, his greatest highlight was a player chasing a kid down the field because he called him fat. Claire and Nick don't seem to understand the context, but Adam finds it hilarious. When Adam claims he's excited about reading it, Nick wants to read it too. Mac ignores Adam and is excited someone as important as Nick is considering reading it. Claire notices how happy Adam is while texting Mac all the time. After Mac is done teasing Adam about fish, she sends the article to him and Nick. Adam immediately starts reading her article while Claire stares at him. Mac asks Bran to come to Nick's UNICEF event and offers to pay for Ashley and Little. When he finds out how much it costs, he freaks out. But Adam is more supportive. Mac finally wins Bran over when she mentions Ghostbusters 2 was shot there. Adam has read her feature and loves how the article has her own strong voice. He is sure Karen will love it. Mac changes the topic when Karen comes by, and they discuss the gala. Mac doesn't want Karen to know about the feature till she gets some notes from Nick. Nick wants to spend time with Mac, but he's on a deadline. After making his submission, he promises to read her feature. Bran wants to run a play at the bar, but they all refuse. Ashley learns they have so many plays because they have been doing it for 12 years. Mac is excited Nick will finally read her article, but they all think he is delaying it. She thinks he's busy, but they all know the article is small enough for an easy and quick read. They all leave the bar a little early that day. Mac comes home to find Nick asleep and helps him get comfortable. She's getting ready to cover chess boxing the next day. He has read her article, which means he also completed his submission. She's proud of him and hugs him. But when she asks for his opinion on her article, he claims it's great. Since she asks for some notes, he promises to mail them soon. When Mac is covering the chess boxing game, she gets a message from Nick asking her to check her mail. She finds that he has almost rewritten her article and feels bad. She cries before heading to the gala. Adam claims Claire had a family emergency, which is why he is alone. They all cheer for Mac when she arrives, because she looks great. Bran wants to do a play that night too, but Mac seems distracted. Only Adam notices she's not fine. Mac keeps waiting for Nick to be free, but people keep making him busy. Karen asks Bran for an extra obituary because the paper is too light. Adam mentions Mac's feature, but she refuses to admit she has written anything. Karen doesn't understand what's happening, but asks Mac to mail whatever she has to her. Adam still doesn't understand why she isn't sending it to Karen. She shows him Nick's notes and thinks Nick hated her article. Adam agrees that Nick has totally butchered it and changed her voice completely. He asks her to turn her version in, but she is considering sending the one Nick changed. Adam thinks Nick has missed out the important stuff about her family and destroyed the whole point of the article. He thinks Nick should at least know what she likes. He knows Mac only likes Nick because he seems like an adult. But he reminds her that Nick spent the night socializing, but didn't bother to check on her once. He also took 2 weeks to read her article, and didn't even consult with her before changing it. He thinks she was so busy chasing someone perfect that she forgot to consider if he is right for her. Mac still thinks he's a catch, but Adam is angry and leaves her to play her games. Nick enjoyed the event and asks where Adam disappeared in the middle. He also remembers he cleared out a drawer for Mac, which is what she always wanted. But she's not excited, and wants to know why he rewrote her article. She is hurt, but Nick thinks she won't have a job if she doesn't improve her writing. He knows through Karen that there will be more layoffs, and local sports is most likely to suffer. He has known this for 3 weeks, which is why he delayed reading it. He thinks if she hands in a quality article now, she can get a different beat and save her job. Mac is upset he didn't tell her before, but he thought it would be awkward and it wasn't his place. She points out that he took out everything that was personal to her, but he thought her article was too soppy. He didn't want to discuss it, because he didn't like any part of the article. She breaks up with him, because she realizes now that she was chasing an idea more than a person. She wants him to know it's more than just about him not liking her writing. This article is everything personal to her and describes how she views the world. She feels like if he can't understand that, there's no way he can like her as a person. Karen wants her to submit something soon, so Mac decides to send her original version. She puts a peace offering on Adam's desk. Bran has never seen them fight like this, and Mac explains Adam was right about everything. He hugs her after hearing about her breakup with Nick. When Karen calls her to her office, Mac is sure she's getting fired. Ashley and Little wonder what happened, and Bran informs them about her breakup. Karen asks her to pitch ideas and follow protocol before submitting a piece. But she's also touched by Mac's article, and claims she hasn't cried like that in a long time. She wants to put her article in the Sunday paper for print and digital. She will push for maximum readership, and wants Mac to cover a Yankees game. This is more than a dream for her. They go out to celebrate, but Adam is still missing. They find Claire with another man and Mac angrily heads over to scold her. Claire informs them that she and Adam broke up right after their weird double date. Adam hasn't mentioned this, but Claire is sure he is in love with Mac. Mac doesn't believe it, but Bran and Little have known this for years. She thinks she tried to make it work with Adam, but he hated it. They remind her that she hooked up with Adam when she lost her mom, and he felt bad about taking advantage of her. But he has always been in love with her. Even Ashley has known this for years, because she has seen the way Adam looks at Mac. Even if she denies it, they are sure Mac loves him too. She goes back home and looks at the photo of her parents and cries. Bran asks Adam if things are fine, since he has been ignoring Mac's calls. Ashley wants their help, because she wants to surprise Little with a Yankees game that night. She has 4 tickets, and she asks them to blindfold Little with a tie and take him to the car. They lead the blindfolded Little straight to Mac near the stadium. Adam asks what play they did to get him there. Mac claims they only did bag the wrong man to get him there, but she intends to do the simple no-play with him. She has 2 minutes till the match starts, and she has brought him to her favorite spot. All the fans she interviewed also thought their favorite moments at the match included loved ones. She wants him to know that he is kind and thoughtful. She loves the little things he does for her, like saving his fries and having falafel with her. She feels safe with him, because he knows the value of small things. She's about to officially cover a Yankees game for the first time in her career. But she knows her favorite moment will always be telling him that she loves him. He asks her to stop talking and kisses her. When her alarm rings, she asks them to enjoy the great seats she got them before going for work.